I have from Denny Davies a strategy. In fact, I'll read it out to you. And he said this in the chat. This is like way back, but Denny, it hit me so hard. I went ahead and I saved it because you've inspired me, buddy. He wrote, I have refinanced 9 of my 12 financed JWB properties and used the refinanced money to make an additional 28,000 per year cash flow by private lending that money back to JWP. That's after paying for the additional mortgage interest and federal taxes on the private lending. And this is aside from purchasing 2 additional JWB properties in 2022. It's literally investment cash rolling into investment cash, rolling into investment cash. The exponential growth in various aspects of our net worth has been ridiculous, all because of JWB. So brother, I saved that in the chat. I took a screenshot because I wanted that to be my inspiration. And so my question for you, Lee, is okay, I've got 7 properties now. Now, granted, 5 of those properties I've only had within the last couple of years. So I don't know if they've marinated enough to have enough equity. But with the interest rates the way they are and the way things are going, is now a good time to refinance? What is your opinion on that?
As Greg would say, it depends. Everything it depends, right? Because if you see equity has built up in those homes in a year or two, especially in the last 2 years, it's probably enough that you have the reserves to be able to handle how the cost of refinancing to make it justify how much cash flow you're going to come back with, right? So the overall picture is always going to be, the bottom line is I want to pay this property off fast, right? And if I can do that by paying less and being able to put more on the principal, then refinancing might be a deal, but it might cost you $20,000 to buy them, not buy that additional money for each property or something. It's a gut check, really. You want to make sure that what you're doing makes sense to you. My wife said to me just last night, "You're a money broker. Why didn't you refinance the house?" I said, "I just did refinance with other non-recourse loans because I can't just go to my guys, my connections and say, 'Hey, would you guys lend me money in my retirement account?'" They're going to say, "We don't do that." Not everybody does. There's only a handful across the country that do that. JWB working with 3 of them is pretty impressive that they vetted those 3 guys to work with me in my refinance. And again, I had the choice. Who do I want to work with? Right.
Yeah.
And it comes down to whether or not I want to pay the points and whether I want to pay the cash, or I have a monthly bill of $15 a month on who I have. It all depends on how much it's affecting your bottom line and your cash flow and how much it's affecting your reserve. So if you can pay back, like I'm putting all of mine in the C3X routine where everything that's coming in is going to house property number 2. So right now I only owe like $15,000 on that house.
So do us a favor for those kids that haven't always been here long enough to know what C3X is. Could you explain that one?
Yeah, it's a trickle down effect, a snowball or waterfall, whatever you want to call it. So I have 5 houses. One of the houses I paid cash for. So that entire income from rent minus expenses will go toward house number 2. And then house number 2, they're all just house 2, 3, 4 are all paying themselves, but the cash flow that I'm getting from all of those 4 houses is also going into paying down house number 2. So by the time you get done paying down house number 2, you doubled what you can put down for total payment of the 1/3 house. And then that house only takes a year or 2 to pay off. And then the last after that, if you have 3 houses, the 4th house only takes about 6 months to pay off. It really does exponentially grow when you're paying down the principal, putting extra money down on the principal. And any of the lenders that JW works with don't penalize you for that. Right. So C3X just makes sense for a lot of people to do.
Yeah, pay it off sooner and use the assets that you're getting to grow more assets. It's wonderful.